let's talk about navigation, panning, zooming, and rotating, right? So I've opened up a sample architectural project here. We're met with the cover page. What I'll do is I'll open a 3D view so we can have a look and see how to navigate around it. So on the project browser, let's go down and let's look at a 3D view, not the one for coordination. I'll just say the normal 3D view here. If we expand this and we click just the last one here, which is 3D, I'm hoping that's going to be the overall sort of site layout. Okay, yeah. So that's the overall site layout of everything in the whole project, right? So as you can see, they've sort of completely added the whole site. So the roads, the building surrounding, and the building which we are modeling, which is this one here, right? So if we have a look at this, we can zoom in and out using our scroll wheel. Okay, so on your mouse, the center scroll wheel, if we zoom in, right, scroll up, we're going to go into the area which our mouse is at. If we go the other way, scroll down, it's going to zoom out away, okay? And you can actually control where you're scrolling by moving your mouse or your cursor. So if I move this to the top right, if I start zooming, I'm going to zoom into that area, right? Zoom out, zoom away from that area. Very intuitive. What you can also do is if you want to rotate around something, right? If you want to rotate around something, you can click Shift and click the center scroll button, right? So on your mouse, the scroll wheel, you can also press the button, right? The scroll wheel is also a button. If you press that button and you hold Shift on your keyboard, you now start to rotate around the area that you initially had your mouse on, okay? But if you get rid of the Shift and you just press the button, you will start to pan left and right, up or down, right? So there's two things. You can press the button and just move around, so pan around the area. You can press the button on your mouse, the scroll button, and you can hold Shift, and that's gonna allow you to rotate around the area the mouse was, right? So I'm gonna zoom in here, press the mouse scroll wheel and press Shift, and I'm gonna rotate around the area over here so I can see everything, right? So those are the general controls. I'm gonna zoom out over here. I'm gonna rotate. I'm gonna pan a little bit, you know, so you can get used to those things. One additional thing that you can do is if you look at this view cube over here, you can go to the front of a 3D view just by clicking front, right? You can click the top of the 3D view just by clicking this top over here, and it's going to move to the top. So you have this 3D view cube over here, which sort of also modifies as you pan and zoom and modify your view, right? And you can also click a corner and it'll look into that corner of the 3D view, right? So it will adjust the view like that. So this is in 3D, that looks good. If we go to a 2D view, so let's go back up to floor plans on our project browser. If I click let's go to level 2. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this 3D view, so just escape from there. I'll close my cover page because I don't need it, right? And I have this level 2 area here. So same goes for this. If I want to zoom in, I can zoom in and zoom out using my mouse. Wherever I place my mouse is where it's going to zoom in and zoom out, the scroll wheel. If I hold the button or click the button on the scroll wheel, right, it opens this cursor like the X, and that allows me to pan around everything. But what you'll notice is if you try to do that and hold Shift at the same time, nothing happens. Because when you're in a floor plan, right, or a plan view is what we call this, you can only pan and scroll in and out. You can't turn this into a 3D view because this is already a 2D view, right? It doesn't turn into a 3D view. So you can't orbit, you can only pan and scroll, right? In addition to that, I would say that you probably need to understand what these tools are, right? So you have this 2D wheel over here, but I'll talk about that later. The most important thing that you probably need to know is this tool on the bottom. right? So there's a drop down menu over here. If you click this drop down menu, you have a bunch of different tools here. So you have your zoom in region. So if you select that and you select that button, it's going to come up with a magnifying glass. So let's just say I want to zoom into the 2-story studio unit, right? I can create a box around there and I can just zoom into that area, right? If I want to zoom out, I can click this and it's going to zoom out. Click this again, it's going to zoom out. It's going to keep zooming out, right? Because I've selected that tool. If I want to zoom to fit, let's just say that I've zoomed out all the way and I've lost where my floor plan is. I have no idea where it is, right? If I want to zoom to fit, if I click this over here, it's going to bring everything back. So if you lose a 3D view or a 2D view, you can zoom to fit and it'll bring everything back. The shortcut to this is, let's lose it again. All right, okay, I've lost where it is. I have no idea where it is. If you take your scroll wheel and double click your scroll wheel, so take your scroll wheel, the middle of the mouse here, you double click that one, it's going to zoom to fit, right? So that's the shortcut. Even if you're in a 3D view and you don't know where everything is, double click the scroll wheel, it'll zoom to fit. That's the shortcut. I use that a lot when modeling, right? So you can zoom to the sheet size, right? And what this is going to do is it's going to show you what it would look like if you print. So if you had so you have your computer screen right now. If you printed this, this is exactly what it would start to look like, because it's bringing everything to the scale of your computer screen. So you know what it's saying is 1/4 of an inch is equal to 1 foot. That's the scale which we set up over here. So this is what that scale entails. And if we change this scale, it's going to change what it looks like on the screen, right? So you would use that zoom to fit if you want to have a look at what it would look like as you print it. Again, you can just pan and zoom. And those are the different options that we have here, right? So to be honest, I don't use these much. I just zoom in, zoom out, use my mouse to pan. I don't even use my mouse to pan, to be honest. Like if I want to get here, I would just zoom, zoom out, zoom. I just use zoom in and zoom out for most of the time because I don't want to accidentally select something, move it, right? So that's how you'd navigate between 2D and 3D views. One thing I would say additionally is to do with this sort of 2D tool that we have here. If you select this pan, or you have this sort of highlighted area. So you have 3 areas. You have this pan, you have this zoom, you have this rewind, right? So if you select this pan area and you click it, you can pan around the whole area. And I'm panning right now with my left mouse. I'm not using the center, right? If I let go, that 2D object comes up again, right? So this is my tool and I can move around anywhere. And let's just say that I want to zoom now. I hover over the zoom, I click it. As I move up, as I move away using my mouse, I can zoom in or out, right? Just keep in mind, I'm still continuing to press the left mouse button. I let go, it comes up again. I don't use rewind, right? But you can rewind through your movement history. If you click this once, it'll tell you exactly what you were doing before, right? I don't really have the need to ever use this, but it's gonna rewind through what you were doing before. All I was doing is zooming in and out, so that's what rewind would do. But honestly, I think this is useless. This is useless and this is useless. Just zoom in and out using your mouse and everything is just easy. There's a lot of tools that we don't need to use, but I just thought I would explain that to you so you know.